Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
For this coming Thanksgiving, how about making a delicious and colorful pasta-like salad using raw vegetables? This novel recipe idea will be a real treat for your family and friends, and it's going to be a showstopper on your Thanksgiving table.
Watch on to find out more.
Beautiful viewers, welcome to the first of our two-part show, Reverend Beth Love's Vegan Dishes for a Heartwarming Thanksgiving. I'm Mary from Missouri, USA, which is home to a diversified flora and fauna. Our friendly and kind people, thank you for your dedication to making this planet a wonderful place for all beings to enjoy and thrive. Today, we are honored to have Reverend Chef Beth Love on our show. As the founder of Eat for the Earth, she devotes her time and energy to this social movement that collaborates with institutions to adopt policies and practices to promote an environmentally sustainable, plant-based lifestyle to protect all life on Earth. Being a gifted speaker, facilitator, teacher, and an ordained New Thought minister, Reverend Beth Love has motivated and educated people in diverse contexts, such as nonprofit organizations, schools, churches, businesses, and the California State Prison System. She has inspired large and small groups of audience in person and through radio and television. She gives talks on local community TV and appears in high-profile TV channels, such as The Oprah Winfrey Show. She's also the author of the Taste Like Love book series. With the Thanksgiving holiday season just around the corner, Reverend Chef Beth Love will demonstrate a creative, colorful, tasty, and nutritious 8-layer pasta salad for the Thanksgiving gathering. What I like the best about the dish is that it's vegan and raw, a perfect balance for the sumptuous Thanksgiving feast.
Hi, my name is Reverend Chef Beth Love, and I love to feed people good food so they know that it's possible to eat food that nourishes the body, that is good for the earth, that doesn't hurt any living beings, is helpful for the cause of everyone on the earth being able to be fed. And I want people to know that they also don't have to sacrifice flavor to do that. So today we're going to make the salad that's a Thanksgiving version of one of the recipes in my book. The 8-layer pasta salad is going to have 4 different types of raw vegetable pasta and 3 different sauces, plus some things on the top. So we're going to start by soaking some mushrooms for one of the sauces. So I have some dried porcini and some shiitake, and I'm going to put them in this warm vegetable stock. Okay, so we're just going to leave that for now. I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to make pasta. We're just going to cut thin slices lengthwise on this zucchini, and then we're just going to cut thinly in the other direction. And you'll see we have something kind of approaching like a fettuccine or something, very long, thin pasta like this. Okay? If you have a mandolin like this, put it in, and you see that you get nice pasta. There's some other ways as well. Now I'm going to use this fancy machine. I've got a cutting board here to catch the vegetables. So you can see we have these nice long spaghetti-like strands. This spiralizer leaves a little bit of zucchini like this. We'll need that later. We're going to be pretty generous with the salt, but this salt we're going to rinse out. The salt will pull the juices out of the spaghetti, and it will turn it into a more pasta, like an al dente pasta texture instead of a vegetable texture. And then I'm going to do the same process with these other vegetables. We're going to make some pasta out of carrots. Now, my spiralizer doesn't work on carrots very well, so I brought this other model. It's a different type. There we go. Long, skinny strands of carrot pasta. And we're going to start by taking the next step with the mushroom gravy layer. And that's what we soaked our mushrooms, remember, in some warm stock, and they're starting to get soft. And now I'm going to take just a little bit of that stock and I'm going to add it to this miso to soften it up. And then I'm going to add the chia seeds, which is the thickener for this gravy. We're just going to let that sit and thicken.
Precious viewers, we will step outdoors to enjoy the fresh air and glorious sunshine. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. Hello, peace-loving viewers. Welcome back to our show. Reverend Chef Beth Love will continue to show us how to make the 8-layer pasta salad.
Cranberry is a really, really vital flavor that's so ubiquitous on the Thanksgiving table in America. And we're going to make some cranberry applesauce. And I'm going to just start by chopping up this apple, take the core out of it, and then I'm going to cut it up into chunks. And now we're going to process about half the apple with the soft, mushy medjool dates. I'm making sure to take out the pits and any stems. We're using the dates for a sweetener. Scrape it down a little bit. Yeah, the dates are very well thoroughly mixed with the apple, which was our primary purpose. Now we're going to add the rest of the apple, and then we're adding 2 cups of cranberries. And then we're going to add a little bit of cardamom, really yummy smelling fresh ground cardamom. We're going to just actually cut some of the lemon rind off like this, and then just mince it up really small so that we have a nice little zing of lemon peel every once in a while. And now we're going to process it until it's like a chunky relish texture. Okay, that is good. That's going to make one of the very essential Thanksgiving flavors. And now we're going to turn to some of the herbs that we hear a lot about for Thanksgiving. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. And I'm just going to use a whole bunch of parsley, and I'm going to start by just removing the thick stems and see if there's anything else that looks too thick. And I'm just going to chop this just a little bit. Okay, so we're doing about 2 tablespoons of fresh sage, and we're going to chop that up just a little bit too. The rosemary, we're going to strip the leaves off the stems like that. And we're going for about 2 tablespoons of this as well. We're going to chop that up a little bit. Really lovely herb smells. And this one is a English thyme. If you strip backwards down the stem, it's faster than trying to pick off one at a time. Okay, again, we're going for about 2 tablespoons. So we've got our herbs prepped, and now we're going to grind up half a cup of almonds until it's not really super fine, but fairly well ground up. We're making an almond herb sauce. Alrighty then, let's see how it looks. Looks pretty good. There's still some chunks, which is okay. So I'm adding about 1/4 cup of lemon juice. This is a miso that is made out of garbanzo beans. And we're gonna scoop that miso into here. That was about 2 teaspoons. And then we're going to add a bunch of this squash, the ends from my spiralizer, and mandolin to give the sauce body and liquid. And I'm going to scrape down. Okay, that looks really good. Alrighty, so I'm going to put about half of this in and blend it up. So let's put the rest of these greens in. And then we have coarsely ground black pepper, a quarter of a cup actually, of nutritional yeast. And I'm going to scrape it down again. Okay, that's getting pretty smooth. Earlier, I poured a little bit of this stock on a very dark miso that's South River Hearty Brown Rice organic miso. And I'm going to mix this miso up. And now I'm going to mix this at this point and see how that chia is working. It's still pretty thin, but I think it's going to be okay. We're going to make sure this miso is well distributed. Put in here and mix it up together. And we're also going to add some balsamic vinegar. I'm going to take a little sip. That's delicious. So we have all of our pastas rinsed and then the excess water squeezed out. See how it's much, much more like real pasta now? And some of these pastas are just really, really long. So I'm going to just lay the long ones out on the board. And I'm just going to cut in just a couple places. So we're just going to make it a little easier to serve, like that. Now we are ready to assemble this amazing salad. So I have a nice clear glass bowl. We're just going to put a layer of zucchini at the bottom. And then I'm going to just look around like this and see if I've got it kind of level. And all the way out to the edge. So it makes a nice bed for the next layer to sit on. Okay, now we are going to use the cranberry sauce. So I'm just spreading out the cranberry sauce. And then I will pick up the bowl and look around and make sure I did a really decent job. So now we're going to put the yellow, the crookneck squash layer on. Okay, the next layer is going to be our almond herb sauce. Now we're going to put on the carrot layer. Okay, now we're going to put on the gravy layer, mushroom gravy. And now our final pasta layer, which is the cucumber pasta. So the final layer is some special toppings. These are pea shoots, but you can use any kind of large sprouts. And then we're going to sprinkle some pine nuts on there. And finally, we're going to add some nasturtium flowers. So they have the seasonal color, and they're actually really yummy. Okay, voila! 8-layer raw pasta salad. Now it is a little bit of a challenge to serve it, but you can take a couple of large serving forks and it's going to mix up on their plate, but it's going to taste delicious and it's going to be a showstopper on your Thanksgiving table because people love how this looks.
Ingredients. For all ingredients, please use organic versions if available. We encourage you to wear gloves when handling ready-to-eat raw foods.
For the 8-layer pasta salad, the ingredients are 2 to 3 medium-sized zucchinis, 2 to 3 crookneck squash or yellow zucchinis, 3 to 4 medium-sized cucumbers, 2 to 4 carrots, sea salt, 2 tablespoons of pine nuts, 2 to 4 ounces of pea shoots or other large sprouts, edible flowers. For the mushroom gravy, the ingredients are 1.5 ounces of assorted dried mushrooms sliced, 2 cups of vegetable stock, 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon of chia seeds, 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon of dark miso. For the raw cranberry applesauce, the ingredients are 2 cups of fresh or frozen cranberries, 1 medium apple, 1/4 cup and 1 tablespoon of soft dates, 2 teaspoons of minced lemon rind, 1/4 teaspoon of ground cardamom. For the almond herb sauce, the ingredients are 1/2 cup of almonds, 1/4 cup of lemon juice, 2 teaspoons of garbanzo bean miso, leftover vegetables for making pasta, 1 bunch of flat-leaved Italian parsley, 2 tablespoons of fresh sage leaves packed, 2 tablespoons of fresh rosemary leaves loosely packed, 2 tablespoons of fresh thyme leaves loosely packed, 1/2 teaspoon of coarsely ground black pepper, 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast, 2 teaspoons of balsamic vinegar.
For more information on the noble work by Reverend Beth Love, please visit eatfortheearth.org.
We're going to work on a dessert, a really yummy dessert called chai pecan pie. I'm going to start by demonstrating how you make the chai. So here's the spices that we're going to use, and we're going to take some of them and just put them directly in this pot. This one is some nutmeg. I just chopped it up. And then we have some dried ginger root, some dried cinnamon chips, and this is roasted chicory root. Makes it a nice, strong, full-bodied flavor and a rich color. And then we have some dried orange peel. So I'm using whole organic spices, so it'll be really healthy. And then we have 4 more spices, which I'm going to crush up a little bit just to make it easier for their flavors to come out into the liquid. That's some whole cloves, some black pepper, just whole black peppercorns. This is cardamom in the pods. And then we have the allspice, which is just whole allspice. So we're going to grind these up a little bit. They don't have to get fine. And then we take the ground up spices and put them in the pot. And we're going to put 2 quarts of water in with the spices. And then we're just going to bring it to a boil and let it simmer for about 2 to 4 hours. And that's how you can make chai. Now, after it's simmered, you can let it cool down. So here we have some prepared chai that I already boiled for 2 to 4 hours, and I'm just going to pour it into this strainer over a bowl, and you'll see all those spices. And then the next step is to take 1.5 cups of it, and we're going to make the filling of the pie. And then we're going to pour it in this little pot. And we're going to add some agar flakes. So agar is a seaweed that is really good for gelling. First, we're just going to sprinkle it in to the chai and then mix it up. And now we're going to wait about 5 minutes while that softens a little bit.
Lovely viewers, we will take a moment to browse through some wonderful vegan cookbooks that contain interesting and creative ideas for home cooking. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. Hello, kind viewers. Welcome back to our show. Reverend Chef Beth Love will continue to show us how to make the healthy and delicious chai pecan pie.
Baked pies are delicious. I used to be a baker, but usually to get a baked pie crust, you have to put a lot of fat in it, which is not necessarily good for human health. So I like to make a raw nut crust because then the fat is in the nut, so it's healthy for humans. So we're going to use almonds, pecans. We're going to use a little bit of dates. If you have a dehydrator, you can soak the nuts in advance, and then you can leave the dates out of the recipe, but we're doing the shorter version today. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grind up the chia seeds. This is 1.5 teaspoons of chia seeds. This is another really good gelling agent. They'll swell up quite a bit and stick things together, kind of like an egg substitute. So those are pretty fine. And I have over here a little bit of water, and we're just going to soak them in that water. Okay. So I'm going to take a spoon and just mix it up a little bit. Okay. You can see how it's getting thick and sticky. So that's going to help the crust stick together. We're just going to leave that for a moment. And we're going to grind up the crust. 3/4 cup of almonds, 3/4 cup of pecans, 2 dates, and I'm making sure to remove the pit. So you want to make sure that if there's a little stem that you remove that as well, because it wouldn't be very tasty in the crust. We don't want to get it into nut butter, so we're going to grind it until it's a coarse but sticky crumb-like texture. Let's see how this is doing. But it's still a little bit too coarse, so we're going to make it a little more fine. Okay, now we're going to add the chia seeds, the soaked chia that are right here. Okay. Let's see how that's doing. Okay, so you can see it sticks together now, right? So it's ready to be a crust. I'm going to now pour this into the pie pan. I'm going to just spread this out kind of evenly, and then I'm going to build it up just a little bit around the edges. I'm just kind of getting it evenly distributed, and then press it down to make the crust. People often don't know that plant-based foods can taste really good. In fact, studies show that taste is one of the top reasons people choose what to eat. So we want to make sure that we're giving them something that tastes good. I'm noticing my fingers are really sticky. So one of the things you can do if your fingers get too sticky is put a little water on them, and that makes it go a lot easier. So now that we've finished making the crust out of nuts and a little bit of dates, chia, we're going to make the filling. I'm going to start prepping the dates. I'm removing the pits. Now I'm going to chop the dates up a little bit. And this is about 3/4 of a cup of dates. We're going to put these dates in the food processor, and I'm just going to spread them around a little so they're not all in one clump. And then we're going to add the 1/4 cup of reserved chai, a tablespoon of vanilla, and the juice of a lemon, about 2 to 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. And then we're going to process this until it's nice and smooth. I'm just going to scrape it down a little bit. It's looking pretty good. All right, so we've been waiting at least 5 minutes for this agar to soften up in the chai, and now we're going to turn it on, and then we will let it come to a boil. It's come to a simmer, and we're just going to stir it once in a while. We're going to keep the lid on as much as possible so that we don't evaporate too much of the liquid. Okay, it's 5 minutes. It's been going long enough. We're going to turn this off, and we're going to just let it cool. All right, so now our chai is cool enough. We want it lukewarm. And we're going to pour this in here. And then we're going to process it until it's nice and smooth. I'm going to pause for a moment and scrape down the parts that are up high. It's looking good. It smells delicious. Alrighty, that's smooth enough. So we're just going to pour it in here. And scrape out as much as possible. So then we're just going to shake it a little so it's nice and level. And then I'm going to put pecans on the top. I'm going to pour them on this plate so it's a little easier to see the sizes. And I'm just going to line them up around the edge like this. So there we have it, a chai pecan pie. Now we'll just put it in the refrigerator and chill it for at least a couple of hours, but preferably overnight. And then it will be sliceable and delicious. So I'm really glad that everybody joined us for this Thanksgiving episode. And I hope that you will eat lots and lots of great tasting plant-based foods so that you can do your part to increase compassion in the world and to make your health better and to support a planet that we can continue living on forever and ever. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Ingredients. For all ingredients, please use organic versions if available.
We encourage you to wear gloves when handling ready-to-eat raw foods.
For the vegan raw nut pie crust, the ingredients are 3/4 of a cup of pecans soaked overnight, 3/4 of a cup of almonds soaked overnight, 1.5 teaspoons of ground chia seeds, 2 dates, small pinch of salt, optional. For the vegan filling, the ingredients are 1.5 teaspoon of agar flakes, 3/4 cup of dates, 1 tablespoon of alcohol-free vanilla, juice of 1 lemon, about 2 to 3 tablespoons, 1.5 cups of the herbal chai. For the herbal chai, the ingredients are 1/4 nutmeg, chopped into several pieces, 1/2 tablespoon of dried ginger, 1 tablespoon of cinnamon chips, 1 teaspoon of roasted chicory root granules, 1/2 teaspoon of dried orange peel, 1/2 teaspoon of cloves, 1 teaspoon of black peppercorns, 1 tablespoon of whole cardamom pods, 1/2 tablespoon of allspice seeds, 2 quarts or 1.8 liters of water.
For more information on the noble work by Reverend Beth Love, please visit eatfortheearth.org.
Gracious viewers, we are pleased to have this opportunity to share the special plant-based Thanksgiving dessert with you. Coming up next is the Surangama Sutra, 25 Means to Enlightenment, Session 5, Part 3 of 11, on Between Master and Disciples, right after Noteworthy News. We wish you a wonderful Thanksgiving with lots of joy and laughter in this holiday season.
For free international vegan recipes and for language availability, please visit suprememastertv.com/veg and suprememastertv.com/schedule.